Welcome to Balls and Brews, Pod 47. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, gents.
This beer looks delicious, too.
It does. It does. It's got a nice color.
Yep.
It did not disappoint.
No, it does not.
Give me some Urban Roots. You know what I'm talking about? This is it, man. This is like riding a bike. Is what it's called. What a great name.
Here, check it out on the gram and stuff. These cans are epic, guys.
Yeah, no, foreshadowing, we're on the same note without talking to each other. Chuck brought a second Urban Roots beer that we will be touching into in our second segment. But wow, you guys, delicious. Well balanced. It has a nice fruitiness to it.
At the end, it does.
Just a nice little fruitiness to it.
Right. Because at the beginning, you're getting more like the hops.
Right, which you should.
And at the end, you get this nice little end of fruit.
Agreed. Very much so. What you got, Trev?
Yeah, I mean this is the West Coast IPAs I like. This is it.
So, we've shouted them out several times. Sacramento, California drinks at a 6.2, so right there at that beautiful IPA mark.
One of our favorite breweries on this pod for sure.
I just can't get away from them. I look around and I shop and I every time, dude, we come back to good job, Urban Roots. Yeah, for real. They're just over the hill. At some point, you know what we should do is we should take a trip. We should go to Sacramento sometime this spring or this summer when the fucking when the weather's right, dude. It's right over the hill. It would take us like 2.5 hours to get there. Bet we're doing it, pod. We're putting it on wax right now. We're gonna go to Urban Roots and we're gonna record all this beautiful shit for you, and we're gonna come back and tell you how amazing the brewery is.
You know what also helps with us always getting Urban Roots? I buy by what cans look like. Like I read labels, but I look at what a cool can looks like. And Urban Roots cans are all fucking epic.
Yeah, it catches your eye for sure.
Like right off the bat, it's such a great marketing thing to have a good can, something that like grabs you because and then there's 4 more of them right next to each other. You know, I'm pretty sure we had 2 of them, so I didn't grab those. And then we did have, and then I wasn't going to grab the Pilsner, but the Pilsner still had a really cool can. I should have grabbed it to have at home. So it's just like instantly like grabs your sight. So. Great job by Urban Roots on, I think, their cans.
Backing it up with that flavor.
Well, you have to distinguish. You have to distinguish yourself, right? Like in a market that's so saturated, a lot like ourselves here, we have to distinguish ourselves to make sure that our audience is satisfied. Because there's a lot of beer drinkers out there, and there's a lot of podcast listeners out there. But seriously, we're making a pilgrimage. I'm speaking it into existence. We're gonna manifest this. But shout out to anytime you can get a straightforward IPA that you can just sip on. It's a lot like a buffalo wing or like just a regular slice of cheese pizza. If you can make the foundation of those like perfect to me, then I will sample anything else you got on the fucking menu from there.
Good cheese pizza is fucking epic.
Dude, it's amazing. It's so simple, and you're like, dude, what if you add something to it? Well, yeah, I get that, but if you make the base of it like a margarita pizza, basically, which is just like cheese, sauce, and basil, ooh, when it smacks.
Yeah, and when you make that good, you know the rest is going to be good.
Right, exactly. So speaking of which, we talked about off pod about what our beer question / interest of the week would be food-wise, and it relates to the Super Bowl. What is your favorite Super Bowl snack? What is a nostalgic food that you've been eating on a Super Bowl party forever and always? Because people have those for sure. What kind of beer do you aim to drink tomorrow?
Are you crushing like an 18-pack of Coors Light because you can get them down? Or are you having like 3 or 4 Strong Boys?
Only if you have a catheter on, dude. You drink a fucking rack of Coors Light, you're going to be in the bathroom the whole game.
You're missing that game.
Yeah, dude.
Well, tomorrow we're doing tacos, so I do love a taco bar. That's always fun. I think wings are another fun one to have. And pizza, obviously pizza.
Easy if you order it, but yeah, also classic when it comes to feeding large people in an easy arrangement.
Chips and dip are classic because you can always get back over to it during the game,
That's true too. That's true too.
Yeah, 7-layer or nachos, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything with the cheese. I feel like cheese is synonymous with the Super Bowl. I just need some sort of like Velveeta or like that queso from Tostinos that we smacked down during championship week. Two jars.
2 jars of
it.
Charcuterie platter.
Oh, yes.
Charcuterie.
I do not love a nachos and or a fries with sauce and meat on them because I don't want my fries to be soggy and I don't want my chips to be soggy. So I dodge the mix.
With the
I don't. Yeah, and then I kind of just I don't ever do those because I don't want unless I like get it right out.
I was gonna say, bro, it just means that you have to eat it quickly. That's for real. That's how you got to tackle nachos. Because you're right, soggy nachos are not it, but crispy nachos are fantastic.
And I gotta wipe my face 300 times.
Well, yeah, having the beard is a workaround for sure.
So it's fucking a pain.
But I think you all know the answer to our beer selection. I have a oatmeal stout that I purchased as well to bring over tomorrow. So
I already got the Fall River.
Yeah, so I was really bummed out by the review of your Obsidian Stout when you went to Brouhaha. So
I saw it at the store
I went and got some Fremont. It's Dark Star. I think we've actually had it on the pod. I think we
from
have.
From Deschutes?
No, from Dark Star. Or not Dark Star. Fremont, from the one up in Seattle that did the Sky Kraken. And yeah. We've had a couple other ones from them. And I'm fairly certain we've had that one.
Did I pick up the Sky Kraken? Is that
no, I did the Sky Kraken. I want to say you did the Dark Star. I want to say that.
Did.
Yeah, because it's not a barrel aged. It's just a straight floral imperial oatmeal stout.
I think I did do the Dark Star.
And so that's what I'm bringing because I aim to stretch the drinking out, have a nice, tasty, thick drink, slow drinker. Yeah, because if I'm pounding them, dude, I hate being the guy that's in and out of the bathroom the whole time, or I drink 4 of them too quickly and then all of a sudden I catch way too heavy of a buzz and then I'm just like, okay, like, slow yourself down. Heavier beers kind of keep me in that nice pocket of I'm just chilling, we're cheersing, we're drinking, we're laughing, before you know it, a quarter
safety meetings.
Right, yeah. You got to make sure that your OSHA regulations are met between every, football game. But you just also like a quarter goes by, right, and you've had like a beer. And it's like perfect. You got that nice little steady going on, working into the second quarter or the second half or whatever. And you're not, because like we talked about, we've kind of disavowed the seltzer game. Yeah. If you rewound the clock a couple of years ago, man, those ready to drinks were like we were smashing them by the fucking gallon, and like we've kind of gotten away from that because it's just was not the right kind of buzz, if you will, or
it's
like
almost an instant hangover the next day too.
Which is
putting like
how funny is that? Because it's technically like no sugar, it's no added sugar or anything like that. But like, is it just the carbonation? Do you think it's just because I know that I would get like fucking heartburn, dude? Like, oof.
I don't know. I'm always hungover drinking seltzers. Maybe because I put more of them down because I drink fucking like a soda.
12, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe that artificial stuff too.
Yeah.
There's got to be something behind it because they just But a nice, easy, drinkable beer, but slow is the goal on Super Bowl. Because let's be real, there will be some shots somewhere in there too.
Most likely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of whiskey in my house.
There's a whole goddamn bar.
Halftime shots.
Halftime. Let's jump into some of the stuff that happened earlier in the week, or I guess just a couple days ago. NFL awards were handed out.
NFL honors.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Trev's got them up. We're just gonna do like the
big boys.
The big ones. There's like passing like air awards and stuff.
There's a bunch of them and a bunch of different awards that are all kind of in the same vein that just have different names.
Yeah, there's awards I've never even heard of.
Me too. I couldn't believe it.
Like so Bobby got a sportsmanship award. Bobby Wagner got some sort of sportsmanship award. It's like, okay, cool. Shouldn't most people? Shouldn't like I think everybody on the Seahawks except for DK would be eligible for a sportsmanship award. It's the truth. He kind of started acting a little bit better towards the end of the year. It finally looked like it clicked. So maybe next year, bro. I'm so curious. I can't wait to talk about the coordinator hires for the Seahawks. But let's talk about the end of the year awards here real quick.
So no real big surprises. MVP Lamar Jackson leading off.
Hollow, right? As it were. They didn't even make the championship game. Oh, well, they did make the championship game. They didn't make the Super Bowl.
And really, then I don't find that his season was that impressive. This was really a year I think they should have given it to CMC or, another player other than
our defensive player, maybe even in this year's thing.
They could have done that this year, and they're just like, quarterback.
Yeah, they still went the quarterback route, and I understand why he got it, but like,
If Tyreek wouldn't have gotten hurt and he would have hit that 2 bill mark with like 15, 16 touchdowns, I think maybe that would have been the kind of season that needed to get around this quarterback award, as it were. I love me some Lamar. He had a great season. He was fun to watch, but dude, come on, that your playoff record is gonna carry you around. You're gonna Peyton Manning it until you can get over that fucking hump, dude. It took him a while too, so there's still a lot of time. He's still young. He's like 27, right? 26, 27. He's got a lot of football left in him, but it's just a tough, like, how he's got to grit his teeth, right? Like, an MVP, great. Like, I'm not playing in the Super Bowl. Like, fuck. I'm gonna have this stigma around me, and that's unfortunate. But shout out to him overall in his camp, and like that's not an easy thing to do. 2 MVPs is not a lot of dudes have done that in their career, and he once again is still young. So
yeah, keep it going. Moving on, comeback player of the year, Flacco. I think we called that.
I don't even think we just picked it. I think that I understand that what DeMar had was awful, but like he didn't even play. Somebody said he didn't even play like 10 games or 10 snaps or something.
Yeah, it was his limited play that was kind of surprising that he still got it. I thought there was a chance they maybe give it to Baker Mayfield even.
Well, I was talking more Lamar or DeMar's limited play. Like that's the only reason you can't really give it to him. I mean, he came back, but he didn't like. Yeah, but I don't know. Like Baker wasn't really hurt. Baker just wasn't playing good.
Yeah, but they still give him that award to, like, you don't have to be coming off an injury.
Gino technically was, and that was the previous year, was an example of that. Everybody gave me shit. What did he come back from? Being benched? And that was kind of the Baker Mayfield story too. And he did have a career year. I think but Joe Flacco came off the couch. That is the definition of comeback player of the year. At least Baker Mayfield had a job in the NFL through all, like he was never unemployed. He was with different teams.
Sure.
He got shuffled around. Flacco was fucking commentating from his couch, and then all of a sudden they said, dude, we need you to come and try to push us into the playoffs, and the fucker did it. And he had an insane connection with Njoku. Njoku has never looked, if I'm David Njoku, I'm going to my front office and I'm saying, bring Flacco back. He has made me look like a TE1. He did. It was insane, and I think that that's the exact right choice. Now, DeMar, I do want to cheers to you. What you went through was fucking insane, and the fact that you even conquered those beasts, exactly, dude. That's 100%er. But in the overall, Flacco did deserve the award because of the impact he made to the team at the time that he made it and where he came from. Literally the couch. Thumbs up, Joe.
All right, following that up with Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson Jr.
Hey.
I think
where my boy Spoon at though.
The end of the Eagles season lost it for Carter.
Had to have. Dude, they shit the bed at the end
because his beginning stats were insane. He was like dominating.
He has one of the nastiest swim moves I've ever seen.
And he's dominant against the run. He is exactly what he should have been. It just the end of the year for that team.
That guy's fucking movement for as big as he is. He's so agile.
Yeah.
So fucking agile.
Well, after the season they just had to, that defense was extremely disappointing.
Right.
Even though his stats, I mean, like you're saying, they weren't bad. He was good. He's good. Looks,
the Kobe Turner kid, he would have been cool if he would have won.
You have to look at the dissension versus the ascension. Correct. Towards the end of the year, Anderson turned it on, whereas at the end of the year, the Eagles turned it off for sure. Yeah. So it's momentum that carried him to that award. So
Eagles finished strong. Jalen Carter probably wins the award.
So then I guess the next up would be Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is CJ. So the Texans swept the Rookie of the Year. They did the 2-3 in the draft, and then they were subsequently the Players of the Year. That's fucking. Has that ever been done? There's no way that's probably ever been done, right?
Probably not.
Listen to that. Listen to how insane that is.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, their coach was a finalist too.
Yeah.
D'Amico should have won it.
I mean, it was my vote.
Well, I don't know we'll just call
it. Did Stefanski win it? Did he? Yeah, okay. That was my choice. If you go back and listen to our awards, that's the stand I was on that day. But I don't know, man. D'Amico getting that win in the playoffs.
We gave it but you can't count that. It's what the regular season.
That sucks.
That's why it's a regular season award.
Sure.
Yeah, but even before the end of the season, like D'Amico, that team wasn't expected to be that good. They're playing with a lot of young players.
I think the highest anyone of us
were the Browns. Flacco, like we were saying, ended up being just as good as their starting quarterback. So yeah, they had to go through a lot of turmoil at that position. But I feel like I felt like D'Amico did a better job for his first season as a head coach.
Given the roster.
OC, with a first-year
Everything.
quarterback.
In a team that had combined for 13 wins over the last 4 seasons. Yeah, no, it's you got to look at the whole picture. And it's not that Stefanski, once again, I voted for Stefanski on, when we were going through the end of the year. But overall, man, D'Amico and the Texans, watch the fuck out. If they nail this draft, holy shit, watch out, AFC South.
All right, moving on, we have Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett.
No.
No surprise, really.
I mean, you guys anointed Max Crosby, and it's not to say that he's not a bad motherfucker. Max is great.
Picking who they were gonna pick.
Yeah, you can look at all the numbers. They're all had more sacks, but Crosby led the league in like tackles for loss. He had the best run defense grade. So. Those 3 are going to probably be up there for the next so many years, probably with Bosa's in there as well. It's just not. It's going to be those guys. It just depends on, who. I guess I don't know. It's always just going to be those 4 usually.
Well, no, I don't know. I think that there's going to be like some parity moving forward with, like we just mentioned. I think Jalen Carter and Will Anderson are going to have something to say about it. I think Devin Witherspoon's going to come into his own. I think that we're going to start seeing some more on the defense. The defensive lines have been loaded these last couple of years. We got young talent all over the NFL. Like, any guy can pop, I think,
Sure.
Like, that's what I'm pulling for.
Favorites, though.
Going into the seasons, for sure.
Bosa,
Crosby, by all means, is the definition of an animal. The guy has a motor that does not stop. So it's not that I don't respect the choice for the pod, but it makes sense for the NFL to give it. Even though Garrett fucking swung a helmet at another goddamn helmetless player.
Hey, that was
insane. Whatever. You can't get off the hook for that.
Yeah, it's bad luck. Moving on, let's go to Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey.
Easy choice.
Yeah.
Runaway, right? He was in the MVP conversation,
Should have been,
for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, could have been MVP as well. So
yeah. Easy one. So not to undercut him, CMC, you're an animal. There's not much to say about the greatness that you exude when you're healthy. We knew it in Carolina. You just had a bad couple of years. You're in a scheme that uses you fucking perfectly.
Ready for it.
Yeah, no, it was the stars aligned for Christian McCaffrey, and if he pushes and you guys win this chip, he's going to start making a real Hall of Fame style resume. So
how about that C- trade from ESPN?
Dude, fuck them snapshot grades. They gave us a C when we drafted Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner in the same draft. So what the fuck does anybody know for the first couple of years?
But that rounds it out for the top awards given this year for the NFL.
Perfect. Let's jump into the Hall of Fame inductees.
There's some good ones here, man. There's some really, really good ones.
Dwight Freeney, defensive end / outside linebacker.
Basically invented that spin move. If you look at Dwight Freeney's career, that spin move was fucking lethal. He changed the game with how he used that thing.
Well, and then when the Colts got up, dude, it was just let him free.
Oh, he would rip, dude. It was terrifying. Yeah, you did not want to play the Colts with Peyton Manning cooking and Dwight Freeney on the other side. And when they had
first guy I think of when I think of that Colts defense.
Yeah.
Who was that safety on the back end that was legit for them?
Bob
Sanders.
Yes, he was a
Couldn't
fucking.
stay healthy.
He was.
Though.
Yeah,
Yes, he was.
his problem.
He was Earl Thomas-esque though. When he wasn't a big dude, but he'd hit the fuck out you. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Next one that I'm glad got in because
Sidebar.
he changed the game of punt return and kick return.
Devin Hester.
Oh yeah,
Devin Hester.
Electric, dude, just electric, dude.
Oh, that Super Bowl that he returns the opening kick for the Chicago Bears goes down in infamy. That's one of the best Super Bowl highlights of all time. Now, they didn't end up winning the game, but, like, that was insane. That's never happened before or after.
Dude, he was just
One-on-one.
lightning in a bottle, and you would and even if it wasn't a return for a touchdown, 40, 50-yard returns. Like, he was just electric.
You held your breath anytime he broke that first tackle. If he wasn't tackled within that first little convoy, you're terrified because he's fast. He had enough movement. He could get skinny, as they call it. I love that term. Like, he was elite. So shout out, because he never really was like a great wide receiver. He was pretty much a special teams specialist.
Well, he was a cornerback to start, and then they changed him to wide receiver.
Right. But what I'm saying though is he really made his market, and his value was special teams, return game, that kind of thing. So
100%.
I think that's where everybody thinks of him anyway.
His agility and acceleration is probably the closest thing we've seen since Barry Sanders, I think.
Ooh, okay.
It was so.
It was next level. It was next level for sure.
It was like Dion-esque.
Yes.
Ooh, there you go. That's a good comparison. Not as great in coverage, obviously.
Right, but speed wise, and then when he hit
the way
a
he
hole,
moved, I feel it. That's a good comparison.
Next one, I'm also glad got in Andre Johnson for the Texans. Man, that's pretty cool that he made it. He was such a solid receiver for them for all those years.
He just unfortunately got buried in the Texans when they had no direction. They just were not. They didn't have a quarterback.
They had no offensive line.
Exactly.
Poor Carr. David Carr was better than Derek Carr.
Should have been.
Yeah, but that
never got the chance to show it. Never got the chance to show it.
If he'd have been on a better team, if he wouldn't have been that the very first pick of the fucking Houston Texans.
Johnson's best years were with Schaub, right? When they were doing the 13-3, and they had what's his nuts in the backfield? No, who was the backfield? He was really good running back. Foster, Arian Foster. Thank you. Yeah, he had some killer years. So there was some good. He was on some good Texans teams, to be fair, but he also most of his career was spent just like Calvin Johnson, just buried on a team that wasn't making noise. So it is cool to see the individual recognition because he had 2 or 3 All-Pros under his belt, which is hard to fucking do at wide receiver. With so many wide receivers out there, it is hard to get that All-Pro marker, and to do it multiple times, shout out, guy's a stud. For sure.
Julius Peppers.
Just great. Monster. Such a good edge rusher. So fun to watch for so many years.
Monster.
Although he played for teams that I always had a rivalry against, the Panthers and the Packers, but God, he was good.
And then last but not least, the Patrick Willis linebacker.
P. Willie. I mean,
love that man.
He's been eligible for a good while now. So he got in.
Yeah, because technically 17 is the year, right? Because this is 404. Or this is 24. So 17, 7 years, right?
No, it's only 5 years. I think. Is it 7? It's 5. It's only 5 years. Yeah, so he's been eligible for 3 years.
So then
already.
All these guys have been eligible because none of these guys are. Dwight Freeney was since he retired in 17, Hesser in 16, Johnson in 16, Peppers in 16, and Patrick Willis in 14.
Okay, so maybe it was 17. Maybe it is 7 years. So then, right. But Willis was still retired.
Antonio Gates is 18. And he didn't make it.
He was first. No, so he was first ballot. So that's 5 years. Technically 18 to 23, because then you're inducted in 24. Yeah. So it's 5. Oh Jesus! So I'm so sorry, everybody. 5 years.
Okay, so then none of those guys are first ballots. Then,
right.
Which is Dwight Freeney seems like a first ballot, honestly.
Well, I mean, I think it goes to show you kind of.
Just depends on the class.
Yeah, it's hard to get into that fucker when
next year's class has got Eli. That'll be a talked about conversation.
Is he a first?
I don't know.
I don't think he's
it's about. It's about who else is on the ballot, I guess.
It's about who else is on the ballot.
He had 2 fucking playoff runs that live in NFL infamy, but outside of that, he's got not a whole lot, dude.
It was. Okay.
It was mediocre. The rest of his career was mediocre at best. He had the Iron Man. He had the Iron Man because he played every game. He was there for the Giants for many years.
Most important ability
is availability. Nice. I love it, Trev. Good. Yeah.
So that's it of the guys that got inducted in.
But all of them well-deserving. Yeah. Shout out.
It is nice to see some of those guys because a lot of those guys are what we've been watching.
That's our generation, no doubt.
Let's jump into some of the new coaching hires. The Raiders, last week we talked about how they kicked me in the nuts with the one. Reports were that the Raiders were only offering Kingsbury 2 years, and then Magic Johnson stepped in and from the Commanders and told Kingsbury, well, why don't you come see what we can offer? And they ended up giving him a better offer, is what the reports I heard were. So the Raiders did sign Lou Getsy. It wasn't a huge choice of me up front. I didn't realize that he'd been with Devontae and the Packers for a while. And he's a run game guy and a pass coordinator. So we'll see what happens.
Why are you shortchanging though, Raiders? You have the fucking money. Are you kidding me? You can't pay Kingsbury?
Well,
so what that really says to me means that he wasn't a guy that they weren't willing to die on that hill. Yeah. They had a number in mind. They were hoping to get him. Oh Jesus Christ! I've been terrible with that. Right. Well, but they gave him the wrong number, and
Yep.
so Magic Johnson said, "Well, I can outpay that. Of course he can." Have you ever seen how he runs the Dodgers? It's no surprise that he's running the Commanders the same way. He's got money coming out his fucking ears. That they're making investments to be successful. We've talked about this across all of our teams and all of our franchises. Take the fucking swing. Take the fucking swing. If you have the ability to, if it doesn't work out, then you eat it as well. I understand that too, but make the move. Get the guy. Try it. If it works, then you look like a saint and you move forward and potentially push for Super Bowls. But if you miss, then at least there's movement and there's excitement, and your fan base can say, my ownership team is trying to do something for us.
Yeah, got it. You want to see that effort.
Always.
But
Always.
more I read in Luke Getzey.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. More I read in Luke Getzey, I like where he was a hot commodity coming out, and you never know. Like, I heard Urlacher come on the Gottlieb show, and they asked him about
I
field.
can't stand Doug Gottlieb. You want to
I
talk
don't-
about another guy that I can't listen to
I
voice-wise?
like Doug.
Okay, and that's fair.
He was talking about, like, well, what do you think the Bears should do with the first pick? And Brian Urlacher said, well, if you're still asking if the guy's the guy after 3 years, then he's probably not the guy. So I don't know, if it was the Field's fault or Getzey's fault, what happened there, but we'll see what happens. And then I'm excited that we kept Patrick Graham at D coordinator. I think that's fucking huge. So Luke Getzey, and then Devontae gave Luke Getzey a big approval because he was with Devontae for a while, and so he was with Matt LaFleur for some of these years too. So we'll see what happens. But
Can we please sidebar just real quick on? I don't think we've gone into depth on this. What do you think the Bears should do? I think
we should save that for when we get into the draft combo.
Yeah,
Damn
we're getting a lot of that coming up.
Okay.
All
right. There's a lot. That's so good. I want to talk about it.
We love
Golly.
that. We'll get to that.
And then
right.
Chuck, what coaches did you hire?
Oh, okay. All right. So we hired our defensive line coach from the Dallas Cowboys, Aubrey, something. I can't. I don't know. It's the defensive line coach from the Cowboys. So here is the things that I do like that the Seahawks are doing. We also stole away Ryan Grubbs from Alabama. So Alabama,
Which he was the Washington OC
right?
for
Then
DeBoer.
So he was going to go to Alabama with DeBoer for the foreseeable future, but he got the call from a pro team, and he was like, "Okay, I'm pretty sure I can run a scheme up." He's got guys that instantly plug into his scheme that will work great, dude. It's going to work great for DK, for Kenneth Walker, for Zach Charbonnet. He's good with the tight end usage. He's great with tight end movement. So if we can retain Noah Fant and keep Will Dissly, we're going to have a good tight end. Like, it's going to be more involved.
6 or 7 tight ends you have on the roster.
Okay, Colby Parkinson. We have 3 really good tight ends. I don't know why you're poo-pooing that. I feel like that's a good thing to have.
No, yeah, it's not Chuck's running.
But okay, so what
this?
this says to me though is full stop. Everything is we're in the moment. We got young. We're trying to relate to these players. We're trying to devise a game plan that is on the edge of what is going on, and we're not settling for these guys who have been in the league for 20, 30, 40 years. Now, it's not to say that there's not value in that, because we've hired some veterans behind them, but I really think that this is smart to grab the guys that are on the cusp. This is the swing that I just spoke on that I want you to take. I think that we are letting McDonald build this, Schneider and McDonald build this as they see fit. Now, it's a big, it's a giant question mark. If this folds, we could be in the dark ages for a while, you guys. We're taking a swing here.
But a lot of potential there.
Great, exactly. Now, potential doesn't mean anything. Potential looks great on paper, right? You can win the offseason. Who cares? Win the regular season. But it's exciting. I like the direction we have gone. I co-sign this as a Seahawk fan. I think that we have made good moves for potential, rather than just like going and getting a nepotistic fucking old head that's like, well, he's coached in the league for 17 years, so obviously he knows schematics. And it's like, no, those motherfuckers are getting left behind. Let's go get these dudes that are changing the game actively. And I think that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's what the offseason's all about. That hope.
Big fingers crossed. Big fingers crossed. So those are the guys that we hired. I'm so sorry that I butchered the DC's name from the Cowboys, but I should, yeah, thank you, Zach. But I'm very excited to see if Grubbs, I wonder if he puts in different wrinkles now that he comes to the NFL, because notoriously, like, directly college influenced schemes don't always work in the NFL. So you have to.
Who will be there 21 too?
Weatherspoon?
No, 21. You guys are drafting 21, right?
No, we're drafting at 20.
Oh, you know who's going to be there at 20?
Oh, I'm so sorry. 16. No, we're at 16.
You know who's going to be there at 16?
What are you talking about, Penix?
Yep.
Well, this is we're not going to get into draft talk, but the curious question is, now that we've hired once again another defensive guy, what does he look at? What does he value in that first round pick? I'm super curious. I have no idea what his tendencies are going to be, and not a shot. He's never been in control of a draft, so I wonder how he's going to evaluate the roster. And
defensive tackle from Illinois.
Fucking faith, bro. I'm trying to do it, bro. The buzz around you is hot, and you were one of the big candidates coming out this year. So we'll see, man. Let's swim instead of sink. But overall, love the momentum. We'll see how it all plays out.
Next coaching thing is a college thing that's kind of different. So we talked about Bill O'Brien got the OC job for the Ohio State. Thanks, Trev. Well, then
he moved on.
The Boston College head coach went to the DC of the Packers, which we talked about last week, and now Bill O'Brien has taken the Boston College job. So Ohio State needed a new offensive coordinator, and they went and hired, guess who? Chip Kelly, the head coach from the UCLA Bruins.
How weird is that? And he had him competitive. He had him in the top 25 throughout the last couple of years.
When you hear about like what goes on at UCLA, there's like no like help towards the football program, and it just sounds like he's been handicapped the whole time he's been there. From all the articles you read, and it's just then he wanted out, and then you see he doesn't have to be a head coach.
You're getting. Oh, sorry. Go, Trev. Go.
No, go.
I was gonna say you're getting buried now because of you're splitting a city with USC. Okay. That wasn't so bad.
I've been the little brother for a while.
Right, but that wasn't so bad before NIL and before the transfer portal. Now there's no way you're gonna be little brother forever and always. Like exactly. It's the public school versus the private school. There's so much more money in SC. There's so much more tradition, specifically in football. Yeah,
basketball.
The Bruins are a basketball god for sure. It's been a while since they've been truly relevant, but they have so much equity. They will never not be a basketball school. But that's the problem. And Chip Kelly is old school, and he's saying, dude, I don't want to do. It's exactly why Saban retired. It's exactly why all these guys are getting out of college. Because they don't want to deal with all this bullshit of just trying to retain the same roster. I got to take a guy who I just recruited last year and sit him and basically convince him to fucking stay while also trying to chase down the class behind him. Brutal.
If Chip would have got an offer from the NFL, he'd have bounced in
gone anywhere. He was looking for an out. He was looking for an out.
He interviewed with both our teams, and he interviewed with the Commanders.
I'm so glad that my pops texted me. He's like, best decision that ever happened in Seattle history was Chip Kelly signing with Ohio State. It's like, dude, that's it, man. I don't mind an up-tempo scheme, but that one that he runs has not worked in the NFL. It didn't work a decade ago. It wouldn't work now.
Well, I don't think he runs anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's not the same offense.
I don't think it can be. I think it got figured out. I think, tip of the cap to him then, if he realized that and then shifted away from that, because that's what happens. A lot of people get fucking stubborn, and you Bill Belichick.
No, I don't think. I think he runs a slower offense. It's still built around the run game.
Sure. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of movement and a lot of trickery and all that stuff still, but he slowed down the pace, which is probably smart.
So I think that's it for the coaches.
That's hiring. A weird move, though, in the sense of like going from a head coach to an OC without being fired.
No, he's taking $5 million less.
He wasn't gonna. UCLA wasn't gonna keep him.
Oh, okay. Well, then there.
So before we finish first segment and fill up our beers, because one's almost empty, Chuck.
I'm having myself a good morning.
I have a dynasty question for you guys before we start the Super Bowl talk.
Super Bowl.
What does it take to be a dynasty, and have the Chiefs entered that dynasty realm?
I want to hear from the Niner fan first.
All right. I'm going to take a position I might have not taken a few years ago. I think the Chiefs are a dynasty. they are the team I feel like you have to go through to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC. That's how it's been the last 6 years. I know they've only got 2 titles, but I mean, everybody knows it. A lot of people were down on the Chiefs this year. I was one of them because we thought that offense was going to take a step back, but here they are again. And there's no getting past them. And I mean, unless the only way to get to the Super Bowl is to get past them, pretty much.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's put it into perspective. You said only 2 Super Bowls. Most franchises in all the NFL don't have 2 Super Bowls. They're going to their 4th in 5 years. So he has the availability to win 3 in 5 years. That is insane. That is not what you see. That has to be the definition of dynasty.
Did they lose to the Bucks?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's been
the Bucks.
so the only person he's ever really lost to is Tom Brady, because he lost to Tom Brady in an AFC Championship game.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
not
Joe
to get to
Burrow,
the
too.
Super Bowl. Yeah, and
He
Burrow
lost to Burrow
and Burrow.
Oh, then Burrow.
Yeah.
And Burrow. So he's only kryptonite's only Burrow and Tom Brady, and one of them
So
doesn't
far.
play, and the other one can't stay healthy. Cool.
But I mean, if you look at the scope of things and the start that he's off to, and the start that what the Chiefs
can't
have
deny
been,
it,
you can't. They are.
So Chuck, are you saying they are now, or do they need this win to be one?
I mean, okay.
A lot of people put it at that 3 mark.
I'm with
or that back-to-back.
I'm with Trev. What they have done is made them a dynasty, in my opinion, because like Trev said, you have to get
through them.
It's
Super Bowl is through Kansas City.
6 starting seasons, 6 AFC championships, 4 Super Bowls.
Correct.
Shut the fuck up. Like,
lost to
I
Burrow
mean,
once and you lost
what
to
are we
Brady.
talking about? Like, that is, there is not a soul who watches the NFL who doesn't want that. That is okay. It needs to sustain. They are 100% current dynasty.
Do any
They
of
are.
us think that's not going to be sustainable?
If Andy Reid leaves, that's the only way it's not sustainable. They're keeping Mahomes and Kelsey. Chris Jones is a big factor that.
I think even if Reed leaves, Mahomes has more than enough under his noggin and the ability in his arm and his legs to make any scheme fucking work.
I think Reid settles him down.
I don't
Keeps
disagree
him-
with that.
Keeps him less gunslinger-ish than he could be if he had a coach that maybe wasn't so influential. And I think Andy's always making it fun for him on the offense side, because Andy's always developing new shit.
That's true.
Sidebar. Since we're
Sidebar.
there, like, I know that talk has been brought up, but I just can't see Andy Reid leaving this season, even if they win again.
But it's coming.
It is coming. It's going to be weird when he does leave and they have to replace him and Mahomes is still there. That's going to be interesting.
Because you bring in, like, you just elevate Nagy to that person because he's been with Patrick for a while.
No, I think they go their D coordinator.
But Spags already knows that he doesn't want to be a head coach. I think they
Really?
bring
I
him.
mean, I think he's
Neither
earned that
one of those
job
other
to
guys, no.
Be that coach again, that head coach.
I don't think so.
I
I think
think-
Spags
I
would say D
Defense has
coordinator.
been such a
But I think
so
he
much
likes being a
better.
D coordinator. I don't think he'll go back to being a head coach. He's an excellent D coordinator. He's Rex Ryan. Excellent D
You
coordinator.
think they offer him all this money in the head coaching position? He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants that.
I don't think they would give it to him. If the Chiefs are smart, they go and once again find somebody hot, somebody new, somebody different. Mahomes would be all about that. Why would you put Spagnuolo in control of that team? It's not the same. That's not it.
Well, because you would hire him as the head coach, Bieniemy could probably come back in that offense. That culture doesn't change.
I don't know.
Why are you trying to change a culture that's working?
Because you need to accept the idea that's no. But if Reed is the culture, then you're just holding on to shells of it. It's the same concept of like the Patriot way. Like if
But
he's
that's all you
if the
have
head
to
is
do
gone, the
with-
body dies.
No, Mahomes is the head. That's the head of the snake.
Okay, so then if Mahomes is intact, why don't then I'm still not understanding the argument. Why wouldn't you move off? Then let him have something new to grow with rather than just I don't know. I think that if you're saying Reed is the most important piece, then if he moves on, then just bring in a whole new shebang. That's how I feel. I understand the idea of familiarity. I don't like giving it to Spags. I don't like that at all. But and then bringing Bieniemy back, I don't think is a good move either. I think that they've left that in the past. They know what that was. They got some chips. Like I think that once Reed goes, it's time to move on.
Okay.
Not from Mahomes,
So winning
obviously.
2 Super Bowls with that offensive coordinator was in the past. We don't need that again.
Because Reed was the play caller, though, right? He was the guy. That's the whole thing. Bieniemy went to Washington, and for a while, Sam Howell looked good, not great, but like
yeah, but if Mahomes was at Washington, that totally looks different.
exactly. So if Mahomes goes anywhere, he's the head and the heart and the body and the dick. He's the fucking whole shebang. Like he is the Chiefs. Like.
But I think you bring in someone from the outside, you could upset that. It depends on who that person is, of course.
I love that
But
we
you could
disagree.
bring
This
in the wrong
is our
person
first
and
real
that thing goes
disagreement
sideways.
in a good while. So thumbs up to that because there's some good points on both sides. So I mean, Reed, we all want to see greatness. We want to see you stay in the league for as long as you want. And
I think that
although a Raiders fan might think a little differently.
I
about
think that Andy Reid should be looking to bring in a successor without saying he's a successor and make him like the quarterback coach.
There you go.
And then that be the person like the Robinson guy, Zach Robinson, right? That left he's now the OC for Atlanta, right? He left he's part of McVay Street. He left the Rams, like something like that. Find the young kid to bring in that's already on staff. So you're just elevating staff and not bringing in new staff. I don't like the way I agree with Chuck in not upgrading Nagy and or Spags, but I also agreeing with not destroying like the staff that's there, even if Reed leaves. So I feel like you should upgrade from staff, but I think Reed should bring somebody in. Like if he's not going to be this year gone, I think he needs to bring in like an up and coming dude as like a quarterback coach or something, and then that be the dude that like
start a relationship with Patrick.
And then that so that you're upgrading staff so you don't demolish the rest of the staff.
That's a good direction as well.
Maybe Spags doesn't want to. Maybe Spags is just coaching under Reed. He doesn't want to coach under another another coach. But what Spags did last year and this year with how young that defense is, it's the best defense in football at this moment in time.
But overall, we are agreed the Chiefs are a dynasty, current dynasty.
Correct.
Yeah, and just to back that last point too, with the coaching tree that Andy Reid's been a part of, you feel like comfortable, safe, and whoever that he brings in, that he can, if he's going to pass that torch, then he's going to pick somebody that's going to be that guy.
Like find the next young dude that you can like.
But that's my point. Is once again though is like if Reed is still rather on the current edge of the NFL as far as his game. He's ahead of the game. Yes. He has not been the guy that you caught up to. Everybody still says Andy Reid draws up plays like you wouldn't fucking believe. So in that sense, I don't know if you're going to be able to replace that at 100% clip.
Well, we're on the Reid thing.
If he keeps coaching, though, sorry to interrupt you, though, he could maybe even pass Belichick.
That was my question. How much does Andy Reid right now? Andy Reid's easily the best coach of football with what he does.
He's got to get more chips, dude. Bill has 6.
He can get more wins than Belichick, though. Still, their overall win record is close.
Because, dude, what Andy did in the Eagles too, we kind of always forget. He
right.
went to like 4 NFC championships.
No, I understand. But he never got the ring there, and he's got the 2 with the Chiefs. Got to get more chips, dude. I'm sorry. That is the ultimate greatness measure. He set that bar real high. Now I'm not saying it's got to be 6. If he even gets to 4, then you can begin the debate. But he's 4 shy right now. He's got to get this one.
Well, he's not 4 shy. He's already got 2.
So he's 4 shy. Belichick's got 6.
You said he only had to get to 4.
Right, so he's got to get 2 more. That's what I'm saying, though.
That's not 4 more. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, then but I'm saying to tie him, he's got to get 4 more. But to even be in the conversation, he's got to get 2 more, which means this one and potentially another one. That is.
It'd have been sweet if he'd have won with the Eagles.
And he came damn close. He should have beaten the Evil Empire. Belichick's got that over him. Belichick's got that over him.
He had a shitty quarterback.
Oh, whatever. All right, so I'm going to finish this here one, and we're going to go pour up this beautiful hazy, another one from Urban Roots.
Dude, this can is sick as fuck, too.
It's a little funny, y'all. I can't wait to show off this one, but we'll be back shortly.
Deuces. Welcome back to the second half of Super Bowl Pod. Cheers.
Super Pod.
Urban Roots number dose.
All right.
Hey now.
Not as hazy as I was just suspecting, but very good.
No, that is a different direction of haze because that's a hop haze because on the back it says there's the Citra, Rewaka, and what's the other one that it has on the back? Galaxy. Yep. Okay, so it's still a very hop forward. So shout out to Urban Roots. This can is fucking great,
such
dude.
a good can.
Tornado. You guys gotta look this one up. I know it's just gonna look like brown against pink on the screen right now, but please look it up. It's hilarious. It's like if several BoJack Horsemans got sucked up into a tornado. And it's just
heads and legs.
Yeah, it's just another great
can, dude.
Yeah.
They just fucking killed it. They killed it on the beer side too.
Yes, no, and also so this drink's at a 7%.
A little heavier.
Yeah, just a wee bit, but and then I think that's why maybe the hops is a little bit more forward. I do like this. I like a hazy like this though because it really is unfiltered. You can still see by the color that it is an unfiltered IPA for sure. But it doesn't really lean. It leans more on the hops than the fruit aspect.
Yes, I think I get a little taste of the fruit on the back end, but it hop forward for sure.
It's definitely hop forward. I almost get the fruit kind of in the middle.
In the middle, okay.
In the middle.
Like,
right, because it it dries out at the back end too.
So it's more like I get this like little fruity in the middle. Because I think you're correct. I think it's more dry on the back end. I get like a little fruit notes.
I like it though. I like it. I really do. It hits a little differently than the one we just drank. But thumbs up, man. There hasn't been a bad beer from this brewery.
Nah, man. They kick it out of the park every time, can-wise and taste-wise. Let's jump into
the biggest game of the year.
Super Bowl talk.
Oh, boy.
Let's start out with who we think the 10 best players are in this game. Basically, mix of both teams. It's kind of interesting to go through this. Obviously, I think we'll agree on number 1 and 2 being Patrick Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey.
Agreed.
Yep. I mean, we've kind of just spoken the previous segment about the greatness of both of those. Without an MVP, Christian McCaffrey could have won the MVP, and Mahomes is dynastic.
Yep. Number 3, I think, is an interesting pick. Me and Chuck have talked about this, and I don't know, Trev, if you're on the same page, but Trent Williams, offensive tackle for the 49ers, being the 3rd best player in this game.
If I really break it down, he's the next most important.
As well.
I mean, offensive players usually don't get this love, but he is that man at the tackle position.
There are 31 other teams who want him at left tackle. There's not a single roster he doesn't go to and start. He is the best left tackle in the game.
Anybody else would move, like the Raiders would try to get Colton Miller to the right side.
Doesn't even matter. Whatever you got to do, you're dumping at somebody at left tackle. You don't give a shit.
And I'm talking like where we have a good left tackle.
Right.
So it's yes, you're totally right.
And yeah, Trent only has a couple years left. He wasn't in the game last time we were here, and
that's right.
I think he's obviously a difference maker. Could be big.
He's not just an ordinary left tackle. There's not any other left tackles that pull from the left side, come all the way to the right side, and be laying motherfuckers out like he does. He's a pulling left tackle. Who fucking pulls their left tackle?
Nobody wants that matchup. Nobody.
All of a sudden you see Trent Williams rounding the side. Fuck me if you're a safety.
And he's angry. God damn, does he hit you, man? That's I think the man can pull at 350 plus. He's faster than every one of us on this panel right here. At least in an explosive motion. I could outrun him for distance, but within 10 yards, that fool's getting me.
Yeah,
for sure.
He has 200 pounds on me.
Yeah, exactly. How fucking terrifying is that? Like, I think that, when you look at it from a football perspective, the reason why he's so valued is because he can neutralize that anybody on that front four when he's not at the top of his game. He can take Chris Jones is more of an interior guy, but he's going to take Karlaftis, who's a hell of an edge rusher, and he's going to be able to I hope the Chiefs win, but he's going to be able to pin their edge rushers down, which is there's a premium on getting to the quarterback. So fuck, man.
So talk about getting the quarterback. I think number 4 and 5 is very close in ranking, but I think Bosa is just a little bit above at 4 over who I would say 5 at Chris Jones would be.
I like both those guys there. I would think, actually, in my ranking, I probably would have Jones a little bit ahead just because I think he's that guy for Kansas City.
He can wreck shop. I mean, so can Bosa, though.
Bosa on the other shot, he leads the Niners with playoff sacks overall.
Period?
In history.
Wow.
Of the organization.
Wow.
And
he did that quick?
Yeah, that quick. And he's been the guy in the last 2 games that we've had that is getting to the quarterback. Yeah, he can be a monster. I'm not worried about him. We'll get to what the Niners need to do later, but definitely Bosa is a major player in.
But is that 4 or 5,
Is
whether
that
we
4 or
flip
5?
it or not? Kind of thing?
That's where he is for me. He's probably at my 5, but 4 or 5 is.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I just think Bosa's athletic ability is unbelievable, but Chris Jones affects the game in so many different ways. It's just if one of them gets on fire, good luck. Each of them is what we'll get into this probably a little bit later. Or each sneaky bets for some type of MVP, depending. We've seen guys for like the Seahawk linebacker that did nothing for the rest of his career but got a Super Bowl MVP.
Malcolm Smith.
Yes.
Aaron Donald should have got it for the Rams in that Super Bowl.
Like these
I
are
don't know.
two
Cup
dudes.
had 2 tuds.
Dude,
Like Cup had a
game.
game. It wasn't like it was a clear robbery, but like I understand the debate that you're bringing up.
But you could get some sacks. Von Miller got it in the
Which he changed that game.
Both,
He
right.
won that game for
so
sure.
So each of these dudes is exactly in
That
position
game was
to win
ridiculous.
an MVP as well of this game.
I think here number 6 is going to be the most interesting part.
I do
right?
too.
This is the one where we didn't discuss anything off pod, so I want to hear. We're going to go one at a time at number 6, and
I
then
think
we'll debate
6, 7, 8 are almost.
I
the
just wanna
same
hear
two
6.
people.
There are
No.
it's 6,
No, just go
A,
6.
B, C.
I know. It's just how you. I think number 6 for me is Travis Kelce, and then there's 2 other dudes behind it that are real close. But I think 6 is Travis Kelce, just because what him and Mahomes have is something different. That it's Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison type connection where they stop running routes, where they know where they're going to be. It's just this weird like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Tom Brady connection. It's these weird connections that happen, and you're like, dude, how's that guy always open? He's always fucking open.
Yeah, and the defense knows it's going to him, and he still finds a way to get open.
Correct.
I'm in a whole total agreement. Kelsey, he's that guy for that Kansas City offense. It's got to be.
Wow. Okay, so it's funny because it's not that I wouldn't agree with you, but the reason why I'm gonna disagree with you is because I think the guy who's got the task of trying to neutralize him and Fred Warner has to be number 6. I think that guy.
I had Fred way down. I had him in my 10.
No,
but
I don't.
down
I think he is an all-pro for a reason. When that guy is on, off-ball linebackers don't get as much love as they should sometimes. But specifically against a tight end who's fast and he's slowing down. He's older, but can run good routes. I think Fred Warner is. It's the toss-up right there kind of thing. Well, because Kelsey would probably be my number 7, where I think that matchup.
Those 2 are probably going to be matched.
We're gonna, exactly. So when we go into points of the game later, I'll discuss all of that. I really think Fred Warner has to play an immaculate game, and I think he can. It's so weird that I'm giving so much love to the Niners. This roster is just so good. If I take my heart out of it, that roster, he's good. He's great. He's so good.
So if you said
Fred Warner is so fucking good at football.
So if Fred Warner's your 6 and
He's my
Kelsey's your
6.
7, who's your 7, Trev? Because I didn't have Fred there. I had 2 other guys.
I don't have Fred there either. I'm hoping Fred becomes that guy. Greenlaw has had a more impact in the last 2 games. But I actually probably lean more towards Debo.
That's who I was going to put there as well. I really was. I think that when you talk receivers, I think Brandon Ayuk's a better wide receiver.
Yes, agreed.
Which I think Ayuk just misses my 10 when we start getting down to it. But I think Ayuk has made this jump that at the beginning of the year, I think one of my questions to Trev was, is he going to be your 1? Because Debo's not a wide receiver. Debo is an offensive player, number 1. Offensive weapon, OW.
Yes, and that's perfect for the number 2, and it came all together this.
And I think that Debo does so much scariness of emotioning, and oh shit, is he getting it on the sweep? Is he doing this, that? Then that's why he's 7 for me.
Roll.
Didn't Ayuk have didn't he lead the league in like reception yards like per catch? He had to have, because he had like 60 catches for like a 1,300 yards on like 60 some odd catches. It was insane. Yeah, no, when he touched the ball, it was 17 yards every time. It was insane.
He took that jump this year.
Yeah, he had, and which lends to the pure wide receiver. But I understand the offensive weapon argument of Debo. You have to account for him in the backfield in a tight end role, and the motions and the wide receivers.
He runs routes, but
he runs good routes. His middle cut is totally fine.
Routes where you're trying to get the ball in his hand, not like those hard 7s and 8s. You know,
he can run the crossers, but like he's mostly just get the ball in the dude's hands for sure.
The reason I have him higher on the list than Ayuk is because I think they're going to target Ayuk. They're going to try and limit the big play, and I think he's more the big play over top, where Debo's more the big play underneath.
I'll start out at number 8, and I think he is probably maybe one of my more favorite players in this game. And I think he's actually better than who he had at 6. And the positioning of how you play the position is George Kittle. He's an all-around tight end blocking. He is getting out and lead blocks. He's putting people on their ass. I think George Kittle is my number 8 in this. I think that he has to have, which we'll talk about, I think he has to have a big game for this I think he has to have a big game for the Niners for this. I think he's got to open up the middle of the field.
Likewise, I also have Kittle because I think it's got to be him or Debo. One of them is going to have to be the guy in the middle for the Niners to attack this defense. And Kittle's had the best year for tight ends.
He did, dude. He had a great year, and I really like Kittle. I think he's easily probably my second favorite player in your team because I'm a Christian McCaffrey fucking nut. I was coming out of the draft and with the Panthers, so I have Kittle at 8. And we have Kittle at 8, Trev or Chuck. What do you have at 8?
If you're talking best dudes on the field and not necessarily most, I mean, not to say that Kittle's not important. My head goes to a different direction as far as importance, and it's crazy because he won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs when he beat the Niners, and now he's on the Niners trying to beat the Chiefs as Charvarius Ward, because I think that he's got to make sure that Rice and or Kelsey does not have anything going. If they shut that down, then it's going to be a brutal night. If you force that, Pacheco is great and he runs angry, but he's going to get real sick of running into Greenlaw and Warner and Bosa and Armstead, and that front 7 will wake up in this Super Bowl. So if they shut down the back end, this is it. This is the one. I think that this roster, I hate it. This roster is so fucking loaded. Yeah. But okay, if you're talking pure talent, Kittle is the 8th most talented human on that field for sure. He can do insane things in the running game, the blocking game, the catching game, the run after catch. So I guess 2 different directions. I will agree with Kittle at 8.
My 9 and 10 are both defensive players, one for each team. And I think Chuck already touched on my number 9, Warner, of what he's going to have to do in this game. It's either him or your safety. I think it's who's the safety starts with a G, right? You have
for the Niners.
Yeah,
or for the
Niners.
You talking about?
Oh, Gibson.
So it's either Gibson or Warner is going to be on Kelsey. One of the most important matchups in the game.
Yeah, you're gonna have to confuse him. You're gonna have to get shown multiple looks.
And what Fred Warner's gonna have to do to stop who we just said, who just misses my top 10 of Pacheco, when he gets running hot. That offensive line is, if Thuney's not Thuney.
Yeah, Thuney. Joe Thuney's not playing.
He's not playing. He's still got the pec. He's still got the pec injury.
He's got no strength, is what
he can't,
Reed said.
He can't block.
Yeah,
there's nothing there.
That's
So, with him being out, because that Chiefs offensive line is fucking... I know we talked about Trent being the best offensive lineman. That Chiefs offensive line is probably a better
Creed unit. Humphrey's pretty good. And
it's a better unit.
They have some players on that line for sure.
So I think Fred Warner's got a lot to do with stopping the run up the middle. Pacheco's running hard. So Fred is my 9.
I mean, I love Fred Warner. But because of what you just brought up, with Thuney being out... I feel like Hargrave has got to be a play. He was the big free agent acquisition. He wasn't even on my radar, but...
it's a good call, man. And
he's got to take advantage of that matchup. He's got to get that he's got to blow up the middle and ruin that pocket.
If he doesn't do anything this game, that's one of the worst free agent signings of the year.
Agreed.
When we thought it was the fucking best.
I mean, didn't he have he had 6.5 sacks or 7 sacks? I mean, it's not
Coming from what he
absurd.
just
I
did.
understand, but I'm just saying it's not like he fell off and had 2.5. Jadeveon Clowney, when he was signing big fucking free agent deals, was coming off 3 sacks a season and
But
shit.
he hasn't showed up. His 6 sacks were way early season. Their
Okay, so
defensive
he's been
their
cold for a
defensive
while.
line has been awful since the Ravens game on.
I mean, not to get too ahead of ourselves.
Correct.
But
Sorry. Yes.
Last time these teams were in the Super Bowl, I felt like the Niners were overachieving on defense. That defense was clicking, and this season, I feel like they have the talent, but they've been underachieving. We don't have the sack numbers that I think they should have with the names that they have on that line. That'll be more into what the next segment coming up. Did you want to get at your number 9?
Well, I've already used Mr. Warner was number 6 for me.
Yes.
So, number 9, if I'm positioning best talent, dude, it's crazy to think that this might be my answer. This is where I would put Ayuk, because if that offset of Devo and Kittle are right there, then Ayuk, it pick your poison, man.
I know.
And then McCaffrey's there. Yeah, of course. No, this is the year. This is why. Why it has to happen, because that squad will not be able to remain for too much longer. You get maybe another season out of it. Well, Ayuk doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say Ayuk has to get money this year. He was.
They'll probably get Purdy an extension too.
Big respect on Ayuk, because he silently went out there and fucking did it, and now he's gonna go into that market with all the leverage. He didn't bark once about being underpaid. He knew that he's betting on himself, and this offseason he's gonna get that cheddar.
And the reason I have my number 10 at number 10 is because of Ayuk, is L'Jarius Sneed, the cornerback, the stud corner for the KC. Him shutting down Ayuk will turn
That's
half
a good
the
call.
field off. And dude, he is one of the most underrated corners in the game. He's so physical, dude. He does shut sides down. People don't fucking throw him inside.
He has a spectacular season.
I also want to say that there's the offset of Thornhill back there on the safety. That back end, that 1-2 is nasty. Juan Thornhill has been fantastic.
Him coming from the Chargers, dude. He made a play last week. And me and you looked at each other and was like, dude, he's such a good safety.
Yeah, no,
But no, that's why I have Ayuk at 11 and I have Snead, because I think Snead's importance of a shutting Ayuk down in this game is
more important.
Dude, taking half a field away.
Sure.
You know, because the Chiefs. We'll get into it about linebacker core of the Chiefs and the defense itself in probably 2
right
seconds.
Now, yeah, I was gonna say.
So who's your guys' 10 to finish out your 10 players?
My 10 is Pacheco. I put him at 10 just because with the lack of receivers that Kansas City has, he's got to play an important role. It's going to be tough, but they got to stay with that run game if the Kansas City is going to have success.
He caught a couple nice balls out of the backfield last week, too. Their last game, not last week.
And honestly, is Pacheco could take that 10 spot for me. As far also, he has the potential to be the number 1 difference maker in this game.
That's why I had to try that 10.
Exactly, which is why he has to be mentioned there, because if he starts running at 5 a clip, 4.5 even 5 a clip, and the Chiefs can just kind of oh man, then it changes the dynamic of the game, because even if the Niners are scoring quickly and the Chiefs are kind of keeping the ball and the possession is late and whatever, if the Chiefs keep it tight and they have you never can count out Mahomes. And you know what? Shout out. This is going to sound crazy as a Seahawk fan. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Shout out to Brock Purdy, because he has kept his head fucking even in the most meaningful parts of the game.
You know what is crazy though is that
his fourth quarter drives have been what you want to see out of a quarterback. Period.
He fits the system and it works. That's what it is. He doesn't have to be in the top 10 people in our game to fucking have it mentioned. Like, mine would have been Ayuk, and then I'd have had it Pacheco at 12, and then after that probably Greenlaw, and then maybe Purdy there.
But he'll throw some dimes. Right, he still will. Like, he's got a good arm, and I heard a great breakdown of him, and I appreciated this. Was like, it's what he does in the anticipation of the throw. And not a lot of guys can come into the league and do that within the first 3 years or so. And he's doing that within his first handful of games. He's leading guys. He's reading shit correctly. Like, that is a later development, and he's got it young. So,
yeah,
I mean,
he's in like 1.5 seasons. He didn't get
Right,
a full season
right.
last year. And
Right.
this
Don't forget
season, he's just been.
Don't forget to pour the rest of your beer
I
this
got
time,
it.
Trev.
it's gonna be a great game. So now we're gonna touch on. We've kind of already poked at it
A
with the 10 best players. What do we think? 3 points of winning the game, or the most important parts of the game for each side, each team.
I'll start with number one.
get it.
I think number one reason the Niners win the game is they have to have a good first quarter. If they do not have a good first quarter, like the last 2 games, they are going to be in trouble. They need to come out and have a good first quarter. This isn't playing Jordan Love, and this isn't playing Goff, or even the coaching staffs of the Lions. This is playing Andy Reid, and this is playing Patrick Mahomes. You get down 2-3 scores.
No, agreed. Yeah, you can't start slow like they have been. Man.
Good part of this not starting slow is you got to run the motherfucking football in the first half.
Yes, got to stick to the run. I think that's got to be number one. You keep Mahomes off the field. Christian McCaffrey, I mean, we're talking about him for MVP. You got to feed him the Brock, whether it's out of the backfield or handing off. You got to stick with him. He's a candidate
100%.
for a potential MVP.
He should have 20 touches in this game.
He should.
More.
Assuming, right?
Assuming.
If everything goes correctly, yes.
Agreed.
But 20 minimum. Even if it's not working, continue.
Yes.
It's one of those things where you cannot abandon ship unless you get down by 1 million. Then of course game plans have to change. I don't see that happening.
He's still going to
but
catch the ball though a lot too. He's a weapon coming out of the backfield.
So are we saying the number one most important thing is the Niners' hot start if they're gonna because they're not built to play from behind again, and not against this team. Not against this team. No.
They got away with it the first 2 rounds.
No, because if you give Mahomes the juice, oh god damn it, good luck, dude. Like, once again, we saw a great comeback in Detroit, or in San Francisco against Detroit. But like, you spoke on it. This is not that team. The Chiefs are not that team,
and that's why I think
they give up. Can I?
I was telling you. Sorry.
This is the stat that proves this point that the Niners have to start hot. Is that I heard this is great. The Chiefs have led the NFL in second half scoring at 8 points. 8 points over the last 8 games is their average in the second half. They've shut teams out 3 times out of 8 games.
You're talking defensively.
Yes, in the second half. If the Niners do not start hot and they try to battle in the back end of that game, it's not going to be... it still could happen, don't get me wrong, but the percentages and the analytics for what this team has done against them does not play in their favor. They have to seize the lead and continue to... Don't chase points. Shanahan, you dumb fuck, don't go for it on 4th down. Kick the field goal. I'm saying it now because I guarantee you there would be a fucking scenario where it's like, go for it. Kick the fucking field goal.
That's why my first point for the Chiefs would have been you have to play you have to be
mistake free. Well, I think that goes without saying.
No, I think do, but I think on the Chiefs you have to not just finish drives with touchdowns, but finish drives with field goals.
Finish points.
No fumbling, no picks. You got it because start putting the ball on the ground. You're going to give Niners.
Are so big.
You get Niners that many more chances. That offense and also, a little bit more time to click.
It's a flip.
Suck them dry.
What's hilarious? It's funny if you think about it this way. It's a flip of the previous Super Bowl matchup in the sense of the Chiefs are more of the West Coast nickel and dime down the field, and the Niners are more of they can kill you on any play. They can come back from 20 points down in 3.5 minutes if the ball falls in their direction.
That's right. Not necessarily non-mistake free, but like non-punt, like almost non-punting, where every drive you gotta get like 3, just kind of like.
No, I get you. Yeah, absolutely. Just slowly expanding the lead.
Expand the lead. I think expanding the lead for the
or
Niners,
just
or for
points.
the Chiefs.
Even if you're chasing points, it's okay to just get points. Even if you're behind, don't think you got to get it all back at once. 3 points is better than no points.
Because I think the Chiefs' defense is not going to give the Niners very many opportunities. So I think every time you get a chance to score as a Chiefs offense, that's not very explosive, you have to take it.
I am a little worried about the Chiefs tackling because that is some of the hardest motherfuckers in the open field to tackle, period, across all positions, skill positions.
And to expand on that, I mean, the Niners have had a good defense all year, but the Chiefs' defense has gotten better in these playoffs, where the Niners' defense, I really can't say has given up the points that they have early to the teams that they've played.
Yeah, because I think I guess if you guys have another point you want to make, or do we want to jump in the next point?
Well, let's go into the next one.
Yeah,
I think that the Niners' defensive line is the next point to make. If the Niners' defensive line can't stop the run, like Jamar Gibbs, David Montgomery's type to the Pacheco,
right? Exactly. If they're running at 5 a clip, if Casey's running at 5 a clip, it's going to change the dynamic of that game quickly.
If you let Pacheco pound it down your throat, look what the Ravens 17. They didn't give up another point, but 17 points in the first half of just getting Pacheco round down your throat, dude. It's a long game when Pacheco's on fire.
That was literally going to be my next point, is winning the battle at the line. With
winning in the trenches, baby.
Have a Mini-Hugh out. They have Tooney out. Two
that's
premier starters.
Very big injury. Omenihu is a big one. That's
right. And the Niners have been, outside of Bosa, disappointing, I feel like, getting to the quarterback. So this game, they really have to do it to win this game. And they got to win at the line. That would be so huge for them.
Right. Point number 2 is, if the defensive line versus the run / just the defensive line of the Niners in general, because the Chiefs defensive line is clicking.
Dude,
so
hot.
Yeah, no, Karlaftis and Jones are very, very good. Right, exactly. So they're gonna find a way. Like it, and the names we spoke on Hargrave, we spoke on obviously Bosa. Like Armstead is still there. Yeah, exactly. Kinlaw is rotational. They have talent and they have pieces. And if they wake the fuck up, it could be a long day for Mahomes. That's how the Bucs beat Mahomes in that Super Bowl, was they got him off his spot and they put him sideways, and he
gotta blow up that line.
Yeah, so
that line is
it's gonna be, dude. Just honestly, like, I hate this matchup from teams wise. I love this matchup from talent wise. There's so much counteraction from like the scheme is gonna be great to watch. Like, it's gonna be a chess match between Reed and Shanahan for sure.
The Chiefs' second most important thing is somebody else.
Other than
it's
Kelsey,
gotta be number 3. Nope, it's gotta be number 3. Rice is going to do his thing, and Kelsey's going to do his thing. They need somebody else to step up to win this game.
Well,
whether
it's Pacheco.
MSV catching the ball, or Pacheco catching the ball, or McKinnon. They need somebody else to catch the ball at some point in time.
Watch out for Noah Gray. Their second tight end has had a sneaky come up.
But I think they need a 3 in this
Watson
game.
too.
McKinnon,
Watson. I like Watson a lot.
Questionable as well.
He is questionable, but I think they need a 3. I think they need.
I don't know if that's the most next important thing. I honestly think the next important thing is the battle between the cornerbacks and the wide receivers on both sides.
Well, I was saying for the Chiefs' next important thing, not like the team. Like, Chiefs' next important thing is they got to find somebody to catch. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Chiefs' defense
overall, dude, this matchup there's so much good to be had here.
I think the linebackers of the Chiefs covering the middle of the field is more important.
Let's go Seahawks.
For me, the next important thing, it's Kelsey. He's the guy that they always look to on third down. He always finds a way to get open and get those tough yards. Like, man, I feel like every third down he should be doubled by the Niners. They should have Warner underneath and like a safety over top.
I would almost say first and third down.
I mean, probably. He's definitely the focus on that offense. Like, I want to shut down the run first of all, because that would, make him one-dimensional if we can. But he's the guy catching the ball that I'm most worried about. So definitely, I mean, that's what it is as far as
that's why I thought the 3 receiver would be the biggest part for the Chiefs.
So overall, we're saying within all 3 points across all of these teams, shit is fucking. We're matched up evenly, right? Across pretty
close. I mean,
it's insane to say the Chiefs had a struggle during the regular season, but if they haven't proved during this playoff run that they're the cream of the crop, I don't know really what else can.
I'd say both those defenses are comparable. The offenses. Niners have better talent at the skill positions. Chiefs obviously have the best quarterback in the league. So how is that gonna
So
I think that the Chiefs corners match up better on the Niner wide receivers than the Niner corners match up on the Chiefs wide receivers.
Since you bring that up, I think, and you were talking about Charvarius Ward earlier.
It's big. He's big.
I think you just put him on right and shut him down and make them have to go to Kelsey, and then you double Kelsey, and then the only option they have is the run game. But it's easier said than done, of course.
Person catching the ball.
All right, so there it is, man. Those are the matchups that matter. Let's get into some prop bets, huh?
Ooh,
yeah,
boy.
money. What we got on the prop bets?
Dude, there's
right.
okay. First off,
just gonna
before
run
we,
through-
I was gonna say before we get into the segment, let's be honest that there's 1,000,005. We can't cover everything.
So
here,
what we're
right?
gonna do is we're just gonna run through some funny ones, some talk about some numbers, but you can check our bets, which we're gonna talk about as a group as soon as we finish pod and lock down like a game bet, and then which we'll have an over under and who we think is gonna win or who we think is gonna cover, and then we'll have a prop bet ticket. So we're gonna have 2 tickets. So we're just gonna run through a bunch of them and just talk about how fun some of them are and just give you some heads up.
Yeah, and we'll be posting, of course, on X and
Instagram, watch out for that. Absolutely.
All right, so to start us off for prop bets, we want to do total passing touchdowns.
Sure. What do we got on that one?
So for Patrick Mahomes, it's 1.5 over under. Same for Purdy.
Over.
I would say Purdy would have to be more.
You don't think Mahomes is gonna throw 2 tuds?
I do. Do you think? Well, I don't know. I think that the Chiefs.
I would
kick a
bet
lot of field
Mahomes. I
goals.
wouldn't bet. I mean, I don't know. I think Purdy's
bet-
gonna throw 2 tuds too.
I
I'd feel
bet
pretty
Purdy-
safe betting both of them.
You like the overs for both?
Yeah.
I like the Purdy over and the Patrick under because I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball.
You think he's only gonna throw 1 tud?
I think they're going to kick a lot of field goals.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I think it's going to be a big field
I mean,
goal.
I hope
Okay.
so, but
I don't think there's a lot of touchdowns scored on
I
that one.
like the over on that. I love that there's an instant debate on the first one. I like the over for both because the explosion of the wide receiver crew / tight end crew in San Francisco is just nasty. One of them's gonna break some tackles and get into the end zone.
Well, I think with the Purdy bet, you got Christian coming out of the backfield.
There's that
or
too.
Debo. I
There's
think
that too.
That's what I think.
offers
That's
to
what I
the
think.
over, like,
Correct. That's what
where
I think. There's a lot of field goals. I don't think we got a lot of
Mahomes,
touchdowns.
like, I don't know. I feel like he'll probably have at least one to Kelsey, but how many? That
Right.
can
But
be a
I
little
think,
tough.
I don't know. I just think that Mahomes is going to get so many opportunities to sling the rock that 2 is pretty feasible. I like the over. I'm going double over. Double over for those.
Double over. Right. Like a little sound bite. Double over.
All right. So next, do we want total passing or rushing, or
Let's go with rushing. What's the rushing total? I'd like to hear this one. This will be good.
All right. So for Christian McCaffrey, the over under is 89.5.
Rushing.
Over.
Ooh, I don't know. Against that Chiefs D.
Over.
I feel like he should be, an integral part of the game.
89.5.
20 touches.
It's tough though. The Chiefs defense, like I said, has gotten
I
so
get
much
it.
better in the playoffs. How many of those games is just him getting the
And
handoff?
also, I think
or
he gets a
coming out of the
lot of
backfield?
catches, right? A lot of catches, some screens.
They also have on the over under for rushing yards Deebo Samuel at 16.5. I probably
I'd
go
go
under.
over. I'd go
He's-
over on that.
I
think he's gonna need that
because
sneaky
he's
rushing
only really one handoff away from that. Like
I think he's gonna have
his
a sneaky
one
rushing.
How
jet
many does he
sweep.
get?
Right.
3,
It all
4?
depends on how good that first one works. Yeah, no, that's a nice
I like
risky
over.
one.
I
could
like-
see why you would lean over because I could see the percentage. I would lean over too on that one.
Because I think
would.
you're gonna have to
would.
get Debo a couple of hand.
Why not? There's opportunities there. You've done it several times before.
Yep.
And then the other prop bet, probably because of how well it
I wanna
worked
hear
last
this.
week, was Brock Purdy.
Ooh.
12.5.
Over because he's going to be scrambling. He's going to be running for his life.
Yes, he is.
They don't
Defense.
even have Pacheco listed for the rushing.
Really? No
wait,
way.
No, they do. I just
I was
had to
gonna
switch
say.
it
I was
over.
saying-
Yeah,
no
no,
way.
okay.
They have a section.
Okay,
Well,
Niners
what-
versus
what-
Chiefs.
what-
Yeah.
What
So,
is Pacheco?
Pacheco is 67.5.
Over.
If
Over.
if the Chiefs are gonna win, it has
should
to
be
be
over.
over.
Dude, he's
It has to be over.
Dude, I love that one. That one, we got to mark that. That's got to be Pacheco. That's got to be one on the pot. Dude, over.
Okay, and then we also have Mahomes at 25.5.
That's a good one
That's
Ooh.
tough. That's tough.
because he can use his
Because he
legs.
can, but 25
He can.
is Is that 3 runs? Is that, is it
For him,
7,
that's
7,
about
right?
like 4 runs, 3 or 4 runs that are of value.
I think that Purdy getting to 16 is easier than Mahomes
Agreed.
getting to 25.
I'm not touching that one. I think it's too close not to touch.
I would say
personally.
under if we were gonna. If we
I
got to
just
call
think
it, I
it's
think under.
yeah, it's too woozy on that
Yeah.
one. I'm too woozy on that one.
And
Woozy.
to mix it up a little bit more, Travis Kelce, a half yard. Is there going to be that play where he gets that?
If they give him the
fantastic
push.
a push or
Yeah,
something,
you
or
know those plays are in that playbook.
right, because it's not because even if he
tush
does
push.
the touch pass, that's still a pass. It's not a
Right.
run,
Right.
so
And
it's
he
got to
actually
be
has to either take it
behind
from
the
under
line of
center.
scrimmage or a wildcat.
Yeah,
right.
take it from center or hand off.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I think it's hilarious because it literally just means one play. But the Chiefs don't run that one play, so
Not
Or
heavy.
they do, and you get
Make,
that
right.
back.
No, I know. Sure. I just don't like it as a flyer. That's not my dart throw.
Sure. We also have either the passing yards, total rushing and receiving.
No, let's
total
move on. Let's go to
receiving,
something
total
crazy.
receptions.
Let's keep going. No, keep going. Push.
San Francisco outcome of first drive. Kansas City outcome.
Yeah, what are those?
Okay, so for San Francisco, punt it's plus 115, offensive touchdown plus 200, field goal plus 350, turnover plus 675.
I'm taking the field goal for the odds right there.
For San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm taking if that's because
punt-
okay, a punt could easily happen. An offense, they're putting a touchdown in front of a field goal. Yeah, that's why I like those odds because I think the field goal is more
I think
feasible.
they punt on the first drive.
Okay.
All right.
But that's a good one. All these things. Okay, so once again, you guys, there's so many of the prop bets are great in the Super Bowl. Read into them deeply. There's shit
I
with
do want to hear the
the
receiving
coin
yards.
toss. I want to know coin toss. I want to, there's so much Taylor
coin-
Swift seconds on TV.
Before we get to the receiving, though, for the Kansas City, it's similar. Punt plus 120, offensive touchdown 210, field goal 325,
Field goal
turnover
for KC.
again 675.
Field goal for KC first drive.
That's where you're at.
I like
You're
that.
thinking
Yes, because I think you get a little bit of a drive going maybe because Buckner's the best kicker in the league.
Butker.
Butker,
Yeah.
best kicker in the league.
I'm
I like field
Justin
goal.
Tucker's the fucking.
Well, I know, but
beast.
I think he's taking over for distance wise. Justin Tucker is the man, like Hall of
Okay,
Famer. I think
okay.
the KC kid's got a little bit more leg now. I think field goal on that one. I do. I think.
All right, well let's get into some more obscure ones, bro. Get down the list a little bit.
Well, I want to hear the receiving yards. I want to see
Okay, all right.
receiving yards?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Well,
some-
okay, so I would imagine that Kelsey for the Chiefs, Kelsey then Rice for the Chiefs.
Right.
That's
who-
correct. For Kelsey,
then-
you got 70.5, and for Rice, you have 68.5.
Oh man.
Okay.
And then if you want to get in the weeds, we got
Yeah, who's in the weeds? Is there anybody?
MVS 19.5.
Over.
Pacheco.
That's like one catch, dude.
It's probably
Wow,
for the way
only
he plays.
20. Can we write that one down? He's only got to get
MVS.
20 yards. He's only got to get 20 yards for us to win that bet.
Pacheco 17.5. Watson 16.5. Noah Gray 13.5.
Noah Gray's not a bad bet either on that one.
What was Noah Gray?
13 and a half. That's like one catch for him,
catches,
2
one
catches for
catches.
him. Yeah, I really like that MVS though.
19,
I
that's 2 catches.
really like
One
that
catch.
MVS for him. Yeah.
And then for the
Niners.
Niners,
Let's go right to the weeds. I don't care about the top ones. Let's go into the shit
Well, I
house.
do wanna hear what
use
they
check.
have.
What is use check? 12 and a half.
Let's hear what Debo and not because they might have something.
All right, that's true. No, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
so far Ayuk, it's 59.5.
That's it.
That's it.
Over.
What's Kittle and Christian?
Samuel is 58.5. Kittle is 49.5.
There.
McCaffrey 33.5. Juwan Jennings 14.5.
Juwan Jennings over. If they win the game, Juwan Jennings has got to be the dude that makes a nice play.
How are they only putting Ayuk in the mid 60s?
Because they got Snead covering him.
Snead's going to be covering
The disrespect. No,
It's
I think
Juwan Jennings, dude. It's got to be Juwan Jennings.
that third right there,
Catching
or
out
even
over
fourth
15,
option.
15 yards.
God damn, there's some really juicy ones right there in those props. Because
All of them, even
if they
Pacheco.
pop, that's the half yard for the Kelsey idea, right? Like it might not happen, but
I like
it
the
could.
Jennings. Okay, give us some obscure stuff, T-Money. I like the
Do
Jennings.
you want to do? We got first scoring play or San Francisco or Kansas City total points, overtime? Question mark.
Overtime. I don't.
No, I like the idea
I
of
don't think
like who's
overtime.
going to score the first points, Chiefs or Niners?
So for the first play, we have San Francisco touchdown at plus 180, Kansas City at plus 185, Kansas City field goal at 360, same for San Francisco.
Okay, so
And
whether
then Kansas
what do you
City
think's gonna happen?
safety at plus 4,500.
Hey, dude, if you would have bet
Throw it
that,
out there.
if you would have bet
Bet that
that
for
the
the
year the
Seahawks.
Seahawks, I was gonna say, dude, a snap over Peyton Manning's head would have made you fucking 4 G's on a
Something
dollar.
stupid, dude.
Golly,
I'm in on the field goal.
from who's gonna do it first?
KC field goal first.
KC field goal
I think
first. So
the Niners are
3-0,
punting.
3-0 KC.
I think the Niners are punting first drive.
That's true. You
Punt.
did put that on wax.
They've
Okay.
had the slow starts in the recent
Okay.
matchups.
But you said if they're gonna win, they can't slow start.
I don't think.
Da-na-na-na.
Keep that for later. I forgot.
We're coming up on our predictions. We're very, very close.
Well, I mean, as far as like prop bets, that's
Over under 15 and a half seconds of
I think
Taylor
that's a good
Swift
group.
total coverage.
Over 15 and a half.
I mean-
But I don't think they're going to put it at. They're going to
I
put it
don't
at 30.
see that available, but
They're going to put it at 30.
I'm sure it's
seconds.
somewhere.
How long is the national anthem going to be?
Over-
Who's going to
it's-
win the
it's-
coin
it's
toss?
always
Are
over
they
2
going to
minutes.
defer?
Or how about Super Bowl MVP?
Ooh, I
Ooh,
like this
I like
one.
that. Give us
Yes,
some
that
numbers.
is good.
Pat Mahomes at 125.
Makes sense.
Brock Purdy at 200. McCaffrey at 400. Travis Kelsey at 1,200.
Ooh.
And Deebo Samuel at 2,000.
For the odds, I like McCaffrey.
I do too.
I do too.
I mean, obviously, with any MVP award, the quarterbacks are going to have the clearest
They touch the ball every down,
course.
Chuck.
Yeah, they're going to have the clearest
That's
course
why they're 1
to
and 2.
winning that exactly.
That's
But
why if the defense player, you need to have sacks.
given the odds, though, and because I took the over on McCaffrey's 89.5 rushing yards, I think CMC is going to be the guy.
So just after that, there's Pacheco, Ayuk, Rice, Kittle. Bosa is the top
think-
defensive player at
I
plus
think
8,000.
Pacheco's sneaky.
Pacheco
He could be.
plus 2,200.
All you got to do is have a couple touchdowns.
Chris Jones another plus 8,000.
But no, it's.
Fred Warner plus
I
10,000.
will say that they are. The MVP in the Super Bowl is more non-biased than the MVP in the regular
Correct.
season.
It's
There
really
have been
aggressive.
linebackers who have won it. There have been cornerbacks who have won it. There have
Marcus
been
Smith had
running backs who
2
have won it.
picks.
Oh, he had a fumble recovery and a pick.
So boom,
Yeah.
you don't have to. It doesn't have to be spectacular.
And one was returned for a touchdown.
Correct.
So he did have a touchdown too. So I mean, it was out of all of the amazing things that happened, everything else was kind of like fair for like a couple of guys had good games. He had a great game. He did win the MVP that game. He was.
Right. So you just have to have one.
You just got pop. You just got
Anybody can do
pop. Right, which means those bets all across the board. If you got a feeling, y'all, maybe throw a flyer. That could be a good dart throw if you think somebody's going to step up and really impact that game.
So before we get to our common sense and fandom, let's pick it.
Let's go. All right, money
leave-
going
no,
last.
leave
Money
me
going
last.
last. Yeah.
I think
I have mine. I've had mine set in a while. So
I have 2. I've come down a little bit. I'm 24-20 Chiefs, low scoring,
I'm
a lot
okay.
of field goals.
23-21 Niners. I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but I think the Niners get it done in a really close battle. I think that's what the NFL wants. I think Mahomes is ending up slamming his helmet on the fucking ground, and we give all this shower to Purdy, and I gotta live in this post-fucking apocalyptic bullshit for the Niners. I hate it. I'm taking my heart out of it, you guys. I am. I don't like either one of these teams, but if I analytically break this matchup down, I think bar for bar that the Niners should win this, and I think somebody's gonna go for it on 4th and miss some shit, or it's gonna be some stupid score. It's gonna be 23-21 Niners. I hate that.
So we're both on the under, though. I like that.
Yeah, I'm heavily on the under.
What is the under?
Oh, it's 46.5 right now, I believe. So I guess I was close. I was at 44.
I mean, I like rooting for the over myself, so I'm leaning more 27-24, and I gotta pick my team.
That's what's gonna make the pod some money if you hit too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. At the beginning of the year, I bet the Niners to win the Super Bowl. I've never bet them to win the Super Bowl before. This is the first. We're here. That wins.
So pod picks are Niners over the Chiefs. So technically, we're gonna have to bet it that way then.
I mean, we'll see when it comes down to it. We'll probably give Z some final say.
I hate that. God damn it! I hate that. And maybe I'm like Greenberg. Maybe I have a kiss of death. Maybe me pulling for the Niners is the reason why they lose. Hopefully for that.
I just feel like this should be the year. The window isn't closed. But the cap situation,
this is the peak. This is the peak of your team. This is what Shanahan has been trying to build the entire time. This is the peak of all of it. He's got the running back, he's got the quarterback, he's got the receivers, he's got the tight end, he's got the defense, he's got fucking everything.
Right, and they've been pretty good on health-wise, and with Kansas City health-wise, plus not really having that. Their second best receiver is their rookie. I think you
gotta seize the moment. Carpe diem.
It's been 94, so. We're talking about 30 years since the Niners last won a Super Bowl. It doesn't get brought up as much because they've been competitive recently, but it's been a while.
Been a drought. All right, Z. So what you got for our common sense, my friend?
I think this is something that we've pushed a couple times. Why in the fuck is the Super Bowl not on fucking Saturday? Dude, that's a huge common sense.
Well, especially with all of the other major sports kind of not claiming Saturday. Yeah. Like the NBA doesn't do it, the MLB doesn't do it, college football's passed. Like Saturdays are completely available for the Super Bowl.
So the Dan Patrick Show sent an email to NFL headquarters, and they got the answer back. Well, because it's called Super Bowl Sunday. Our fans are used to watching the Super Bowl on Sundays. They watch football on Sundays. That is so fucking stupid. That is just not...
That's dated.
Yes. Yeah, dude, Saturday is the day. The economy would go up if the Super Bowl was on Saturday. More people would be out and about at different places, even not just at Super Bowl, but in their own cities. Being like Sunday, dude, we talked about how you're gonna drink beer on Sunday. I gotta go to work Monday. He's gotta go to work Monday. He's gotta go to work Monday. We can't be just fucking slamming shit and having a fucking huge party. Yeah. Super Bowl Saturday would be fucking huge. Super Bowl Saturday sounds pretty good to me.
It sounds great, and that would be a moneymaker. It would make more money if it was on Saturday and Sunday, and I know the NFL is all about that. I don't understand, just because that's the way it was, that's the way it's going to be. Like, come on. What are we doing?
That's antiquated.
I mean, the only way it stays Sunday is if you're going to make that a holiday. Give us the next day off so we don't got to go work on Monday.
Yeah, I like to pound a couple brewskis, have a good time.
I just think it's... If the NFL says that maximizing profit is what, the goal of the business is, and you look at it clear as day, if the audience that you are pitching your product to says Saturday over Sunday, what are we waiting on? Give the people what they want. Give the people, what is happening the day before? What is happening today?
What are we doing sports-wise?
Today. Today's the day before the Super Bowl. What are we doing sports-wise?
NFL, what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? That's pretty common sense to me. Maximize profit. Everybody's happy. Everybody wins.
If you think
everybody wins.
Bullies, flowing time. Every fucking bar would be busier on a Saturday than they would be on a Sunday.
Yeah, no, science backs that up. Statistical evidence, especially in Washoe County, dude. Good God.
Facts.
Everywhere. Everywhere it would be better.
I know.
Dude. You give everybody Sunday to kind of...
That's an easy
fucking relax, fucking chill.
Downey, you got us a passionate fandom is what you have pitched to us off pod. So I want to get into this here fandom because that common sense is straightforward. Make it Saturday.
Okay.
Super Bowl Saturday.
My common sense has to do with the team that's over my left shoulder. Or not my common sense. My fandom has to do with the team that's over my left shoulder. We were at Chewy's the other night having a drink, and there's nothing on TV. Guess what was on? Charles Woodson talking to Tom Brady about the tuck. I sat there and watched it, cussed, screamed the whole time it was going on. My wife was looking at me like I was crazy. The bartender had a good laugh. It was just us three at Chewy's. It was Josh. Josh was the bartender.
Okay.
So we were all having a good time, laughing, having a couple of drinks. that shit still fucking fires me up. We would have went to the motherfucking... We would have beat Pittsburgh the next... We would have beat Pittsburgh the very next game. I think the fucking Patriots smashed Pittsburgh. We'd have beat the shit out of Pittsburgh and went and played in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and I think we matched up just like the Patriots did. We were good that year. I know our record, I think we were like 10-6 or something, but we were finding stride at the right point with Tim Brown, Gannon. Everything was going the right way. That fucking Tuck rule gave the Raiders a 3-year fucking... killed us. They didn't trade in Gruden after Saragusa fucking killed Gannon in the very next playoffs, where we would have beat the fucking Ravens, but Saragusa smashed him, flattened him like a pancake. So we didn't have our quarterback the rest of the fucking game. So fucking that Tuck rule took everything away. Everything. Talking about Super Bowls, we would have won that year. Saragusa took it away from me the next year, and then the fucking Ravens ended up winning. And then we went and got smashed because Gruden was actually on the other side because Al Davis is a fucking asshole and traded him.
I feel for you, man. Like, it's so stupid.
So those are my Super Bowl thoughts.
The chance you have to win the Super Bowl is negated by a rule that's only for that year, pretty much. And then they're like, oh, this was a stupid idea. Why was this a rule? Okay, now we're going to fix it.
And if that didn't happen under the 2-minute warning, it would have never got reviewed because if you watch it in slow motion, dude, Tom Brady almost touches the ball. And because he's a centimeter off of not touching the ball, he's still called the Tuck rule. Dude, it fucking still brings hate to my heart. I was watching it and I wanted Angelique was like, Jesus. I was like, this. I knew every play that was coming. I fucking was
It's gotta be painful to watch that game, bro.
It's the first time I've watched it. I never watched that documentary when it came out because I didn't think I could get through it. And then I watched it at a bar and I was like cussing. Luckily, nobody else was there.
You got anything to add to that, Sheep?
Yeah, man, I've experienced similar moments like that across.
Oh, you threw it instead of running it.
Yeah, there's that, and then
play calling's a little different.
Well, no, Chuck I think got fucked a lot in the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl. I think the refereeing was awful for one. So I think Chuck got fucked in that Super Bowl more than the run over pass. That's enough. But I think
that was a fair play by the defense. There was no penalty, or it wasn't like, oh god, he cheated and he got the pick. Like, no, he broke on the ball and made the greatest play of his career, and he'll go down in Super Bowl infamy.
It's one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl.
It is,
but it's not getting fucked.
Right? No, agreed. It was a great play versus the Steelers. It literally the guy came out. He was a Steelers fan, in his personal life, and he was raised in Pittsburgh. And he came out and was like, yeah, I had a bias. There were several play calls that just shifted the game. There was a pass interference in the end zone for Darryl Jackson. I remember this is another. See, I understand this point by point, bro. As a fucking Seahawks fan, I didn't want to necessarily get into it.
Hold on. So I heard Gottlieb. You said Alexander was on Gottlieb this week.
Sean,
talked about
boy,
it, dude. It was a great interview, and they talked about that Super Bowl, and that's it's right there, dude. When you get fucked, it's different than losing.
Oh, absolutely. Roethlisberger's touchdown didn't cross the plane before he started fumbling, but they kept that fucking on the board. No, there were 3 defining plays that took points off of Seattle and gave points to Pittsburgh. There was full swings in that fucking game.
Because I've lost Super Bowl and got fucked in a playoff game. So Chuck, you lost a Super Bowl on a good play, but a play call that we want to say could be better. But you also lost Super Bowl by what you said, Roethlisberger fumbling before he gets in. So would you rather lose?
Neither.
Why no? Because
they're both terrible. Yeah,
it sucks for us to get fucked.
Well, yes. When you look back on it and you're like, those calls were wrong versus we made the wrong call. Every player has a right to the ball. Malcolm Butler broke on the ball, made the play of his life. Period. There was no fault to be had. He made a great play. We called
one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history.
It was the clock was stopped. We had a timeout in our back pocket, and then a guy with the nickname fucking Beast Mode. The guy's nickname is beast mode, and he's got to get you 1 yard
and you don't
with the clock stopped. We're not rushing to get into this formation. We got up to the fucking line and we decided to throw it.
I mean, I feel that way with the drop pass from Garoppolo on that. Well, it wasn't a drop
The
pass.
overshot.
It was the
The
overshot.
overshot. Because this is a rematch. Yeah, 4 years. What was it, 4 years ago?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
So
I got
Miami.
Because I got fucked in a playoff game, but then I got my ass kicked by my old coach. So
Yeah,
it feels worse.
Well, he knew the game plan.
It feels worse when you're getting fucked on a play call than it does when you lose. It still sucks. But at least you just lost. You didn't nothing else changed the game. Like it was mono.
If you can blame yourself and say, fuck, dude, I could have played better, that's way better than saying, no, fucking zebras threw these flags and made these calls. You look back on them. The NFL has gone back and said, no, this was the wrong call. So that's very, very different than a guy having to say, look, I blew that coverage, or like I got the ball punched out, or like an actual play on the field versus like a touchdown getting called back, or like, you know, a touchdown not being confirmed or whatever, you know, some shit where it's like this was clear as day and they got it wrong for sure.
And since you brought it up, 2 quick points just for that Seahawks Steelers Super Bowl. 1, I joined the Century Club that night and could not remember much of that game. And 2, Brock Purdy would have been the youngest quarterback to be in a Super Bowl
since Roethlisberger. Since that game.
Yes.
By century mark, we explained to the fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was a little curious about that. Yeah.
Well, that is Century Club. That went over to a buddy's house for the Super Bowl. 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes is what it is. And you don't think it's just easy drinking beer, but it catches up with you drinking that quickly, and it caught up with me. So that's where that ended up.
That's an extended power hour, because that's what a power hour is.
That's what it is, exactly.
Holy shit, dude! I've only done one of those in my day, and that's a fucking tough sell.
Ooh, boy.
I've never done any of that.
Yeah, no, don't. So you guys make sure give it.
I'm just gonna dip into the fandom a little bit more. It's just like Super Bowl commercials, like they always have the new commercials.
I'm almost deflated by them at this point. They have not been great recently. They used to be the marquee of if you didn't care about the game. Almost not anymore.
I gotta go pee or get a snack during that time.
I understand that, but I am kind of looking forward to. There's supposed to be a trailer of the premiere of Deadpool 3, Wolverine, Deadpool. It's gonna be dropped on that Super Bowl. Like that's a commercial.
Yeah. So was NCAA football during the national championship.
Please, yes, give me that.
Anyway, if we're having this discussion 5 years ago, I'm leaning way more on the Super Bowl ads were still pretty relevant. They've gotten really fucking not great recently. It's like they're just normal commercials almost anymore, or like the punchlines just don't hit the way that they're supposed to.
My guy Ursher's doing the halftime show.
I just don't laugh the way that I used to at Super Bowl ads. I just don't.
Ursher's gonna have some hits.
Ursher. Oh yeah, we're gonna hear. Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's his biggest hit. That's his biggest hit.
Does he close with that, or does he open with that?
I don't know.
I bet he closes with that.
We'll have to wait and see.
Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Obviously, Super Bowl's coming up.
Tomorrow, baby.
Pay attention to this weird basketball where you can pick guys up off of waivers. It's because the Lakers are going to pick up Dinwiddie. Like people make trades and then they drop the contract, so people are able to pick up. So there'll be some of these weird pickups.
Next week we are going to. If you're going to foreshadow our queue, we're going to do some NBA talk. Yeah. We definitely did all NFL. We got some MLB we should dip into, and maybe some NHL talk as well, because the NFL season will officially be over for at least the next 4 weeks until the official season,
until the draft.
March technically is free agency as well, but we're going to dip our toes back into the other major sports, as we definitely wanted to just do the football pod. That's why we're all rocking the football hats. So to money, I love you, dog, and I don't want to necessarily see the Niners win, but I do think they will. That's what I put professionally out there.
I do not, so we're going to talk about it here in a second. But have a great weekend, and hope you guys have a great Super Bowl party.
Absolutely. We'll be back. Pop 48. Thanks, guys.